If you think you can outrun destiny, you've never met something that doesn't need to chase you. The forest was too quiet. Emily Carter felt it before she heard anything, before the wind shifted, before the cold crept under her skin like a warning she couldn't ignore. Her boots slammed against damp earth, each step uneven, desperate, her breath coming in sharp, shallow pulls as branches clawed at her jacket and tangled in her short blonde hair. She didn't stop. She couldn't. 30 minutes. That's how long she'd been running. 30 minutes since she left the road, since she told herself that if she just went far enough, 1 mile, maybe 2, she could disappear. Her lungs burned. Her legs ached. But fear kept her moving. Not fear of the dark. Not fear of the forest. Him. A memory flickered, unwanted and sharp. Rain falling in sheets. A black car idling at the edge of the road. And him. Lucian Voss, standing perfectly still under the storm, his pale face untouched by the cold, his deep-set eyes glowing faintly red as they locked onto hers like he'd been expecting her. "You shouldn't be out here alone," he had said, his voice calm, almost gentle. That was the moment she knew she had to run. Emily pushed harder, stumbling over a fallen branch, catching herself just before hitting the ground. "Keep going," she whispered, her voice trembling. "Just keep going." The trees thickened. The path vanished. Good. That meant no one could follow. That meant she was finally ahead. Finally safe. The thought barely formed before the temperature dropped. Not gradually. Not naturally. 1 second it was cold. The next, it was still. Silent. Wrong. Emily slowed. Her breath fogged in front of her, hanging too long in the air. Then she heard it. Not footsteps. Not movement. A voice. Low. Familiar. Right behind her. "You always choose the wrong direction." Her entire body locked. Slowly, she turned. Nothing. Just shadows between the trees. Her pulse spiked. "No," she whispered, backing away, shaking her head. "No, not this time." She spun forward and froze. He was there, leaning casually against a tree as if he'd been waiting for hours. Dark coat untouched. Expression unreadable. Eyes fixed on her. Lucian Voss didn't move. He didn't need to. "How?" Her voice broke. "How do you keep finding me?" A pause. Then the faintest tilt of his head. Not amused. Not angry. Certain. "I'm not finding you, Emily." He pushed off the tree, stepping toward her with slow, measured ease. "You're returning." Her breath caught. The forest shifted again, shadows stretching longer, deeper. And for the first time, Emily realized something far worse than being followed. She wasn't alone out here. And Lucian wasn't the thing she should be running from. Emily could not move. Not because she was trapped, but because something deeper, something instinctive, told her that one wrong step would make everything worse. The air had changed. It was heavier now, pressing against her chest with a quiet, suffocating weight. Her eyes darted past Lucian, into the darkness between the trees, and that was when she saw it. Not clearly, not fully, just movement. Slow, careful, watching. Her breath caught. "What is that?" she whispered, her voice barely audible, but it was enough. Lucian's gaze did not leave her. "That," he said calmly, "is why you keep running back to me." A chill ran down her spine. "I am not running back to you," she snapped, though the words lacked strength. "I am trying to get away from you." Lucian took another step forward, closing the distance between them with unsettling ease. "If that were true," he replied, his tone steady, "you would already be gone." Emily shook her head, backing away again, but her heel caught on uneven ground. She stumbled, barely catching herself, her pulse racing out of control. "Then explain it," she demanded. "Every time I run, every place I hide, you are already there." "How?" For the first time, something shifted in his expression. Not anger, not amusement, something older. He glanced past her shoulder, toward the unseen presence moving through the forest, then back to her. "Because," he said quietly, "you are not choosing where to go." The sound came again, closer now, a faint rustle, a slow, deliberate step that did not belong to wind or animal. Emily's breath grew shallow. "Then who is?" she asked, her voice trembling. Lucian did not answer immediately. Instead, he reached out, not touching her, but close enough that she felt the cold radiating from him, steady and controlled. "Something has been following you since before you met me," he said. "You just did not notice it until now." Her heart skipped. That is not possible. It is, he said. And every path you take leads you closer to it. The shadows shifted again, stretching unnaturally along the forest floor, and Emily felt it then, not fear of Lucian, but fear of whatever was waiting beyond him. Her voice dropped to a whisper. Why did you not tell me? Lucian's eyes darkened slightly, the faint red glow sharpening in the dim light. Because you would not have believed me. He paused, then added, softer this time. You barely believe me now. Emily swallowed hard, her thoughts spiraling as the truth settled in, heavy and impossible to ignore. She had been running for miles, running for hours, but not once had she truly been alone. The realization hit her like a sudden drop in temperature. Then what do I do? She asked, the question breaking out before she could stop it. Lucian stepped closer, finally closing the last bit of distance between them, his presence overwhelming but strangely steady. You stop running, he said. The movement in the forest stopped too, completely, as if it was listening, as if it was waiting. And for the first time, Emily understood that whatever was out there, it was not chasing her. It was guiding her. Emily did not realize she was holding her breath until it finally broke, sharp and unsteady, as if her body was trying to catch up with something her mind still refused to accept. Stop running. The words echoed in her head, heavy and impossible. Her fingers curled slightly at her sides, trembling, not from the cold, but from the realization that for the first time since this began, she did not know what direction meant anymore. Forward felt wrong, back felt worse, and standing still felt like stepping into something unseen. If I stop, she said slowly, her voice barely above a whisper, then it finds me. Lucian did not step away. He did not rush her. He simply stood there, his presence steady, unshaken by the tension tightening the air around them. No, he said quietly. If you stop, it reveals itself. The forest seemed to react to his words, not with sound, but with silence. A deeper silence, one that stretched too far, too wide, as if the night itself was holding its breath. Emily's eyes flickered again to the darkness behind him. Nothing moved now, not a single branch, not a single shadow, and that was worse. I do not want it to reveal anything, she said, shaking her head. I just want this to end. Lucian's gaze softened, just slightly, though the red in his eyes remained, dim but constant, like embers that never fully went out. That is not how this works, he replied. You cannot end something you have not faced. A sharp sound broke through the silence. Not loud, not sudden, but precise. A single step. This time, Emily heard it clearly. Not from behind her, not from the side, from everywhere. Her pulse spiked instantly. It is closer, she whispered. Lucian nodded once. Yes. And you are just standing here, she demanded, panic creeping back into her voice. You are not even trying to stop it. His expression did not change. I already am. The answer did not make sense. None of this made sense. Emily's chest rose and fell faster now, her thoughts spiraling as the invisible pressure around her tightened. Then why does it feel like it is waiting? She asked. Lucian's eyes locked onto hers, unblinking, certain. Because it is not afraid of me, he said. It is waiting for you. The words hit harder than anything else. Waiting for her. Not hunting. Not chasing. Waiting. Emily's breath faltered again, her mind racing through every step she had taken, every turn she thought was her choice. Then it knows where I will go next, she said, the realization settling in like a weight she could not shake. Yes. And if I do nothing? Lucian stepped even closer now, close enough that the cold around him steadied her racing pulse instead of worsening it. Then it has no path, he said. The silence deepened again. The unseen presence did not move. It did not advance. It lingered, suspended, watching. Emily closed her eyes for a second, forcing herself to stand still, to resist every instinct telling her to run again. Seconds passed, maybe 5, maybe 10. Then something changed. Not in front of her, not behind her, inside her awareness. The forest did not feel endless anymore. It felt contained, narrow, focused, like invisible lines were being drawn, shaping a direction she had not chosen. Her eyes opened slowly. It is still there, she said, but it is not moving. Lucian gave a slight nod. Because now, he said, his voice lower, quieter, it does not know where you will lead it. Emily swallowed, her fear shifting into something sharper, something more controlled. Then what happens if I move again? She asked. Lucian held her gaze, unwavering. Then we find out whether it is following you, he said, or if it has been guiding you all along. Emily did not move right away. The urge to run still pulsed through her veins, sharp and relentless, like her body had not yet understood what her mind was trying to accept. But something had shifted. The forest no longer felt like an endless maze. It felt like a test. Slowly, carefully, she lifted one foot and stepped to the left. Just a single step. The ground held. The silence held. Her breath hitched as she waited. Nothing. No sound. No movement. No reaction. Her eyes flicked toward Lucian. He was watching her, not the forest, not the shadows, only her, as if her choice mattered more than whatever waited beyond them. Again, he said quietly. Emily swallowed, then took another step, this time forward. 1 yard, then another. The air tightened slightly, almost imperceptible, like a thread pulling somewhere deep in the dark. She froze. You felt that? Lucian said, not a question. Emily nodded slowly. It is like something noticed. Lucian's gaze shifted past her for the briefest moment, then returned. Because it did. Her chest tightened again. So it is following me. Not exactly. His voice remained calm, controlled, but there was something sharper beneath it now. It is adjusting to you. The words sent a chill through her. Adjusting. Like it had been expecting her to move a certain way. Like every step she had taken before had been part of something larger. Emily's breathing grew shallow. Then I was never choosing, she said. Not really. Lucian did not deny it. The silence between them stretched again, heavy with meaning. Emily clenched her hands, forcing herself to stay grounded. Then I will choose now, she said, more firmly this time. Without waiting, she turned and walked in the opposite direction, cutting sharply across the uneven terrain, stepping over roots and stones without hesitation. 5 yards. 10. 15. The forest responded immediately, not with sound, but with pressure. The air shifted again, more pronounced this time, like invisible walls were closing in, narrowing her path. She stopped abruptly, her pulse racing. It does not like that, she said. Lucian appeared beside her, not moving through the space, simply there, as if distance meant nothing to him. No, he agreed. It does not. Emily turned toward him, frustration breaking through her fear. Then what does it want? For the first time, Lucian did not answer immediately. His expression darkened slightly, his eyes reflecting something older, something buried beneath centuries of control. He looked past her again, deeper into the forest, as if recognizing something she could not yet see. It wants you to remember, he said finally. Emily's breath caught. Remember what? Lucian's gaze returned to her, steady and unwavering. Where you were supposed to go the first time. The words settled heavily between them. Emily's mind raced, trying to grasp something just out of reach. A direction. A choice. A moment she had missed. The forest shifted once more, the pressure easing just slightly, as if waiting for her to understand. And for the first time since she started running, Emily realized something far more unsettling than being followed. She had already been here before. Emily's breath slowed, but her thoughts did not. Already been here before. The words echoed in her mind. Unsettling, impossible, yet something deep inside her recognized the truth in them. She turned slowly, scanning the forest again, but this time not as someone running, not as someone hiding, but as someone searching. The trees looked the same. The shadows stretched the same. And yet, something felt familiar. Not the place. The feeling. A hesitation. A moment where she had stopped before. There was a path, she said quietly, more to herself than to Lucian. Not a real one, but I felt it. Earlier. Lucian did not interrupt. He let her think. Let her piece it together. Emily took a cautious step forward, then paused, closing her eyes briefly as if trying to recall something just out of reach. I ignored it, she continued. I thought it was just fear. I turned away from it. The air shifted slightly. Not closing in. Not pressing. Waiting. Lucian's voice came low and steady. In what direction did you choose instead? Emily opened her eyes and turned, pointing behind her. That way. Away from it. A faint flicker of understanding crossed Lucian's face. Then, that is when it began guiding you. Her chest tightened. So every step after that was not entirely yours, he finished. The realization settled heavily, but it did not break her. Not this time. Emily straightened slightly, her fear sharpening into something else. Focus. Then I need to go back, she said. Lucian watched her carefully. Yes. No hesitation. No warning. Just certainty. Emily exhaled slowly, then turned around. Not running. Not rushing. Just walking. One step. Then another. Back the way she came. The forest responded again, but differently now. The pressure did not close in. It followed. Subtle. Curious. Like it was trying to understand her new direction. She kept going. 10 yards. 20. Her pulse steadied with each step, her movements more deliberate, more controlled. Then she felt it. Not pressure. Not fear. A pull. Faint, but unmistakable. Off to her right. Emily stopped immediately, her breath catching. There, she said. Lucian was beside her again, silent, present. That is the path you ignored, he said. She nodded slowly, staring into the darker part of the forest where the pull seemed to originate. It did not feel safe. It did not feel welcoming, but it felt right. And that terrified her more than anything. If I go that way, she began. Lucian's voice cut in, quiet but absolute. Then you stop being guided. She swallowed. And start choosing. The silence deepened again, but it was no longer suffocating. It was expectant, waiting for her decision. Emily clenched her hands, then took a slow step toward the unseen path. The moment her foot touched the ground in that direction, everything changed. The pressure vanished. Completely. The forest opened. The air cleared. And behind her, something moved. Fast. Not toward her, but away, as if it had lost something it could no longer follow. Emily's breath shook as she turned her head slightly. It is leaving, she whispered. Lucian's gaze remained fixed on the darkness ahead. No, he said softly. It is searching for another way. Emily's heart skipped. Another way to what? Lucian did not look at her this time. His voice dropped lower, colder. To reach you, without needing you to lead it there. Emily did not look back again. Whatever had moved in the darkness, whatever had followed her every step before, it no longer mattered in the same way. Because now, for the first time, she was not reacting. She was choosing. The path ahead was barely visible, a subtle shift in the trees, a slight opening where the forest seemed less dense, but the pull was undeniable. Not forceful, not controlling, just there, waiting. She stepped forward again, slower this time, more aware of every movement, every breath, every change in the air around her. 10 yards, then 15. The silence followed her, but it no longer pressed against her. It watched. Lucian remained close, not in front, not behind, but beside her, matching her pace without effort. It is still out there, Emily said quietly. Lucian nodded once. Yes, but it is not guiding me anymore. No, she hesitated, her gaze fixed ahead. Then why do I still feel like it is connected to me? Lucian's expression darkened slightly, though his voice remained steady. Because it is. The answer made her chest tighten again, but she did not stop walking. Then this is not over. It never was, he replied. The path narrowed further, the trees closing in just enough to frame the space ahead like something intentional, something designed. Emily slowed, her instincts sharpening. This place, she said, her voice lowering. I know this place. Lucian's eyes shifted slightly, studying her now instead of the surroundings. Tell me. Emily took another step, then another, her breathing steady but focused. I did not come here tonight for the first time, she said. I just thought I did. The realization unfolded slowly, piece by piece. The same hesitation, the same feeling, the same direction she had ignored before. I was here days ago, she continued. Maybe longer. I just do not remember it clearly. Lucian did not look surprised. Because something made sure you would not. Emily stopped walking, completely still now. Then this path, it is not just where I should have gone. Her voice dropped, tension building again. It is where I was meant to return. The forest shifted subtly, the air growing colder again, but not like before. Not oppressive. Anticipating. Lucian stepped slightly ahead this time, just enough to face the same direction she was staring. Yes. No hesitation. No doubt. Emily swallowed, her heartbeat steady but heavy. And what is waiting at the end of it? For a moment, Lucian did not answer. His gaze fixed forward, deeper into the darkness where the path disappeared completely. Then, quietly, he spoke. Not what, he said. A pause. Then, softer. Who? The word lingered in the air, heavier than anything that had come before. Emily's breath caught again, But this time she did not step back. She stepped forward. And the moment she did, the forest responded. Not with sound, not with movement, but with recognition, as if something ahead had been waiting for her to finally arrive. Emily felt it before she saw anything. Not movement, not sound, recognition. The deeper she stepped into the narrow path, the more the forest seemed to pull away from her, as if creating space rather than closing in. Her breath slowed, not from calm, but from focus, every sense sharpening to a point that made even the smallest shift feel loud. Lucian did not speak. He did not guide. For the first time, he let her walk ahead. 5 yards, then 10. The trees thinned just enough to reveal something different ahead. Not an opening, not a clearing, a boundary. Emily stopped at its edge, her heart beginning to pound again, but not in panic. In anticipation. This is it, she whispered. Lucian stepped beside her, his presence steady, but there was a tension in him now that had not been there before. Yes. Emily stared forward. The space beyond did not look different at first glance, but something about it felt wrong. Or maybe more real. Like stepping out of something false into something that had always been there. You said someone is waiting, she said slowly. Then why can I not see them? Lucian's gaze remained fixed ahead. Because you have not fully stepped into their path yet. Emily hesitated. And if I do? Lucian did not answer immediately. The silence stretched just long enough to make the air feel heavier again. Then you will understand why you were brought here, he said. Brought here. Not led. Not tricked. Brought. The words settled differently. Emily swallowed, her fears shifting again, this time into something deeper. Something that felt closer to truth than anything she had felt all night. I did not come here by accident, she said. Lucian shook his head once. No. She took a slow breath, then stepped forward. The moment her foot crossed the unseen boundary, the world shifted. Not dramatically, not violently, but undeniably. The air became still in a different way. Not empty. Present. A faint sound reached her ears, not from behind, not from the sides, but directly ahead. Soft. Measured. Like footsteps that did not disturb the ground. Emily's heart skipped. I hear it, she whispered. Lucian's voice came low, controlled. Good. The sound grew clearer with each second, not louder, but closer, more defined. And then it stopped, directly in front of her. Emily's breath caught as her eyes searched the darkness ahead. At first, there was nothing. Then a shape. Not fully visible. Not fully hidden. Just enough to suggest someone standing there, perfectly still. Watching her. Waiting. Emily did not step back this time. She did not run. Her voice came out quiet, but steady. Who are you? The shape did not move. Did not speak. But the air between them changed, tightening with something ancient, something familiar. And behind her, Lucian's voice dropped to a level she had never heard before. Be careful what you remember next. Emily's pulse spiked. Why? A pause. Then his answer, quiet and certain. Because this is the moment you forgot. Emily's breath came slower now, not because she was calm, but because something inside her was listening. The shape in front of her did not move, did not step forward, did not reveal itself fully, and yet its presence felt undeniable, like a memory standing just out of reach. Her fingers curled slightly, tension building in her chest as fragments of something distant began to press against her thoughts. This is the moment you forgot. Lucian's words echoed again, heavier now, sharper, like a warning she had already ignored once before. Emily swallowed, her voice unsteady but determined. I do not remember any of this. The figure did not respond, but the air shifted again, not outward, not inward, but through her, like a quiet ripple passing across something buried deep inside her mind. A flicker, not a full memory, just a sensation. Cold air. The same path. The same place. And him. Not Lucian. The other presence. Standing exactly where it stood now. Emily's breath caught as the image vanished just as quickly as it came. I have been here, she whispered, more certain now. I stood here before. Lucian did not deny it. Yes. Her pulse quickened again, but she did not step back. Then why did I leave? She asked. Why did I run? This time, the answer did not come from Lucian. It came from the silence ahead. Not as a voice, not as words, but as a shift. The figure moved, just slightly, enough for the darkness around it to bend, to outline something more defined. A shape that felt familiar in a way that made her chest tighten. Emily took a small step forward without realizing it. The moment she did, the memory struck harder. Not clear, not complete, but stronger. A voice, not heard, felt, telling her something she had not understood then. A warning, or maybe an offer. She flinched, her hand rising slightly as if to steady herself. "It spoke to me," she said, her voice shaking. "I just did not understand it." Lucian's tone remained low, controlled. "You understood enough to leave." Emily shook her head. "No, I left because I was afraid." The word hung in the air, heavier than anything else she had said. Afraid. Not of Lucian, not of the forest, of this moment, of this choice. Her eyes locked onto the figure again, her fear no longer pushing her back, but holding her in place. "What did I do?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The air tightened once more, not around her, but between her and the figure, as if something was waiting for her to reach the answer on her own. Another flicker, this time clearer. She saw herself standing here, days ago, maybe longer, the same tension in her body, the same uncertainty in her eyes. And then she turned. Not because she was forced, not because she was chased, because she chose to walk away. Emily's breath broke. "I rejected it," she said, the realization hitting fully now. Whatever it was offering. "I said no." The silence deepened. The figure did not move again, but the space between them changed, heavier now, more focused, as if that choice still mattered, as if it had never truly ended. Behind her, Lucian's voice came quieter than ever. "And now," he said, "it is giving you the chance to answer again." Emily did not step back this time. The fear was still there, steady and real, but it no longer controlled her. It held her in place, sharpened her focus, forced her to see what she had refused to see before. The figure in front of her remained still, waiting, not forcing, not chasing, just present in a way that made everything else feel distant and unimportant. Her breath slowed as the weight of the moment settled fully around her. "You are giving me the same choice," she said quietly, her voice steadier now. The air shifted, not in response to her words, but in recognition of them. She understood now. This was never about escape, never about being hunted. Every step she had taken, every path she had followed, had led her back here, to this exact point. Not because she failed to run far enough, but because she had never finished what started here. Emily took a slow step forward. The space between her and the figure tightened, not with resistance, but with anticipation, like something long delayed was finally reaching its moment. "Last time," she continued, her voice low, controlled, "I walked away because I did not understand what you were offering." A faint flicker moved through the shape ahead, subtle but undeniable. She felt it more than saw it. A response. Lucian remained behind her, silent, watching, but this time he did not step closer. This was no longer his moment. It was hers. Emily's heart beat steadily now, no longer racing, no longer pulling her in different directions. Just forward. "And this time," she said, her gaze fixed ahead, "I am not running." The forest seemed to hold its breath again. The silence deepened, but it was no longer empty. It was full, waiting. The figure shifted once more clearly now, its outline sharpening just enough for her to recognize something that made her chest tighten. Not a stranger, not something unfamiliar, something connected, something that had always been there, just beyond her understanding. Emily took one final step forward, closing the distance completely. "Tell me," she said softly, "what was I meant to choose?" For the first time, the presence answered. Not with a voice she could hear, but with something deeper, something that moved through her thoughts like a quiet truth she could not ignore. Not a command, not a demand, an invitation. To remember, to accept, to step into something she had avoided before. Emily's breath caught as the realization began to form, incomplete but undeniable. It was not offering her safety. It was not offering her escape. It was offering her a place within something far greater than herself. Behind her, Lucian's voice came one last time, low and certain. "This is where your life changes," he said. Emily did not look back. She did not hesitate. But just before she could answer, just before the choice fully formed into something irreversible, the forest shifted again, subtle but sharp, like a reminder that this moment had consequences far beyond what she could see.